If you're not familiar with the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, you're probably one of the 5 people in the world that isn't. So for those who are familiar, yes, we're talking about the big hot dog car that tours the country and gives out hot dogs and smiles everywhere. But you know what? That wasn't good enough for somebody. Somebody wanted something else. Somebody robbed something from the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, but it wasn't hot dogs. My name is Braden, you're watching MotorBiscuit. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, somebody stole the catalytic converter off the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. The Wienermobile was parked overnight in the parking lot of the Sonesta Suites in Las Vegas, Nevada after its Las Vegas stop, and the driver, or hot dogger, as Oscar Mayer calls their employees, seriously, they call them hot doggers, came out the next morning to find what oh so many people have come out in the morning to find. They turn their car on and suddenly the exhaust is a whole lot louder than they remember. You have to think the old hot dogger is probably not making enough money for this kind of thing to be worth it, but last time I checked, Oscar Mayer was hiring, so if you want to go check that out and you want to hot dog your way across America and deal with catalytic converter thefts, might be your golden opportunity to do so. If you really dig into what motivated this crime, it really just has to be for the clout of it. This is a criminal that I'm sure has all kinds of experience stealing catalytic converters and thought, you know what? I've stolen so many catalytic converters, it's just easy at this point. What if I go into a hotel parking lot and steal the catalytic converter off the Wienermobile? There's no way it's worth extra money, right? It's just a catalytic converter. It's based on everything I can find, the Wienermobile is just a GM-based chassis with a 6-liter V8 in it, so you could take it off of really any GMC or Chevy Silverado and get probably the exact same catalytic converter. So that tells me this wasn't motivated by thinking the money would be extra because it's a bigger cat or whatever. It's just a Chevy chassis. This guy was just like, you know what? I'm stealing the Wienermobile's cat and nobody's gonna stop me. You think about it though, 2 can keep a secret if one of them is dead, so who are you gonna tell? This guy just wanted to sit there and be like, yeah, I read the news story that somebody stole the cat off the Wienermobile, and just internally be excited that it was him or her. I don't know. Whoever it was, though, was probably pretty good at what they do. You have to think a hotel right off the Las Vegas Strip by a block or two probably has at least some sort of security in the parking lot. Evidently not enough to care that somebody could just walk in there with a reciprocating saw and an angle grinder and just cut the old catalytic converter off the Wienermobile. Now, believe it or not, the Wienermobile has been around since the 1930s, so this isn't the first major incident with a Wienermobile. I personally saw one back into a parked car in a parking lot of a hotel here in Boise, Idaho one time. It wasn't that big of a deal. They just exchanged insurance, and the guy told me and my friend to stay safe on the hot dog highway after we went up, which is something I and you also should say very regularly. According to Wikipedia though, there are a few different incidents the Wienermobile has gone through over the years. In 2007, a police officer stopped the Wienermobile because he ran the license plate, which by the way says yummy, and it had been reported stolen in Missouri. So he pulled the Wienermobile over to investigate what was going on with the plate being reported stolen. It turns out it had just been stolen off the Wienermobile at some point in Missouri, and Oscar Mayer reported it stolen and told the police that if the plate is on the Wienermobile, it should be considered not stolen, which seems pretty obvious, right? The plate was reported stolen, not the whole car, and also the article states that the police officer was taking a close look at it as it was going by to run the place to make sure it was street legal, which also seems like kind of an insane thing to spend some time on, because you'd think Oscar Mayer would have all their ducks in a row to the point that the Wienermobiles would be street legal all the time. But hey, wherever it got pulled over must be a pretty slow city, because if you got time to just be checking out the Wienermobile and running its plates, there's probably not a whole lot else going on. In July 2009 though, a way more severe accident occurred with a Wienermobile when the hot dogger behind the wheel was trying to turn around in a cul-de-sac and somehow managed to accidentally accelerate, smash into a house, and bury the Wienermobile under somebody's front porch. And in January 2020, a Wienermobile was pulled over for not obeying a move over law, wherein an officer or an emergency vehicle is on the side of the road. You're supposed to move over and give them a lane of space. But the old hot dog just went blazing by a police officer who then pulled him over and issued that hot dogger a warning. This kind of mundane stuff happens all the time, but it's not exciting when it's just somebody in a Corolla. But when it's a giant hot dog with a bun that doesn't even come close to covering the hot dog, for some reason has an engine in it, It's a lot more exciting. Anyway, that's all we've got for wacky Wienermobile history at the moment, but hey, fingers crossed something else goes wrong. As long as it's not too severe, we'll bring you that fun story as well. For now, my name is Braden. Thank you so much for tuning into a MotorBiscuit video, and we really hope you'll subscribe so you can see videos as we release them. And if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, you can follow us on Instagram at MotorBiscuit Official, follow us on Twitter at BiscuitMotor, and check out all kinds of automotive news and insights at motorbiscuit.com. We'll see you next time.